Well, hello and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your source for the finest 2A propaganda brought to you by Daniel Defense and Spartan Armor Systems. The biggest news today is the Fifth Circuit's en banc panel rejecting the ATF's claim that Bumpy boys are machine guns. Wait, what was that? I'm pretty sure I could actually hear Susan Worcestershire demonetizing this video just now. The NRA, of course, wasted no time implying this was a big win for them because, of course they would. But just so we're all on the same page, I want everybody to remember the NRA pushed for the Bumpy Boy ban in the first place. Back in 2017, Wayne LaPierre and Chris Cox officially declared the NRA's support for a ban. Regardless of what their social media person thinks, old Shiny Face is obviously going to be distraught at this news. Sources say he has been absolutely despondent, in fact, spending his time half-heartedly browsing designer suits with none of his usual giddy pleasure at squandering donor money. Not even a chemical peel on one of his many yachts could cheer him up. So, what does this ruling really mean, though? Let's go to our field correspondent, Taylor, for in-depth analysis.
Like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Oh, the bump stock thing? Yeah, I think I heard something about that. Hey, can I call you back? I'm a little busy right now. Thanks, man. Have a great day.
Now, before you go digging up any of those stocks you guys all totally destroyed, we should note this ruling creates a split in the districts, which will need to be resolved by the Supremes. This is an en banc ruling, so it does carry some real weight, and the reasoning is pretty sound. It all hinges on a concept called Chevron deference, which is basically the idea that federal agencies have some discretion for interpreting vague language in statutes. The problem is the language here is not remotely vague. The court is saying the ATF can't use Chevron deference for three reasons. The first, and probably most important reason, is the simple fact the government never actually invoked Chevron deference. It also doesn't apply because this is not a civil matter. This issue involves actual prison time for people and a criminal record. And finally, the ATF contradicted themselves by saying these shoulder things that go up were perfectly legal before, and then they changed their minds. That lack of consistency severely undermines their argument. So, it does look like the issue is going to the Supreme Court, but remember, this is all just hypothetical until someone actually gets arrested. And before we move on to the next story, it's also worth pointing out this case shares pretty much all the same key legal particulars with the ATF's final final rule on pistol braces, which is likely to publish toward the end of this week. Now, I'm no fortune teller, but they tend to drop stuff like this just before shot. Shannon Watts is stepping down as Alpha Karen for moms in your area looking for action. The former Monsanto PR exec has spent over a decade advocating for a state monopoly on violence and trying to deprive regular people of their God-given right to self-defense. Virtually none of her goals were accomplished at the federal level, and she suffered crushing defeat after crushing defeat in the courts. Even the small steps she made towards civilian disarmament in some of the more draconian states were just wiped away by the Bruin decision and overshadowed by the wave of permitless carry that's been passed in half of the states in this country. So I would just like to take this opportunity to congratulate her for a career littered with abject failures.
Well, bye.
Thanks to our sponsor Spartan Armor Systems for making this video possible. Spartan Armor Systems is dedicated to providing the best American-made body armor in the industry for civilians, law enforcement, and the military. You can find out more at SpartanArmorSystems.com. Protect what's yours.
DHS has announced a new portable gunshot detection system, and I, for one, couldn't possibly feel safer. The new system uses both the flash of a shot and the sound to detect, locate, and validate, which is expected to provide fewer false positives than previous audio-only systems, which have been used to generate pretext to harass innocent people in low-income areas. How do you guys feel about tools like this? Am I the only one to feel a little ooky and Orwellian about it? Could a tool like this be abused? Does it even work? Comment below. Back in November, the Third Circuit Court of Appeals ruled even a non-violent felon who has served his time has no Second Amendment rights. The crime in this particular case involved a man who pled guilty to lying on a food stamp application back in 1995.
Houston, we have a problem.
But last week, the court agreed to rehear the case in front of a full en banc panel of judges. What do you think? Should this man's rights be restored? Should a felon get his rights back after he serves his time? If not, can you please explain to me why you think we ought to release a person from prison if he can't be trusted with a gun? I mean, if he's still dangerous, then why would we let him have power tools and stabby things and pool chemicals? Federal Way Discount Guns in Federal Way, Washington is sticking it to the man, and for that, I salute you. Attorney General and confirmed Cylon sympathizer Bob Ferguson whimpered about how Federal Way Guns is refusing to comply with the state's shiny new oppression by continuing to sell standard capacity magazines. Now, a county judge granted a preliminary injunction against Federal Way Discount Guns, ordering them to stop. If you would like to help these absolute chads stick it to the man, you can go to their website, which you can find because you're a smart person. But if I link to it, Susan Worcestershire would put me in the lotion hole. On the website for Federal Way Discount Guns, you can find a link to their fundraiser, and if you're not a bad person, you'll give generously. Now, before we get to your moment of zen, I'd like to draw your attention to the dankest gun roast channel on the internet. Tundra Tactical skewers every sacred cow in the gun world. No matter how based or cringe your build, these professional trolls will find a way to hurt your precious widow feelings. They drop a new crippler every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Central, and I just got done watching their AI video and it had me weak. And now, for your moment of zen. Hey friend, do you like pews and pew-related things? Do you want to help us keep delivering you pure, uncut American pew propaganda at the low price of $3.99? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.